Hi there, in this video I want to show you how to start working with the variables, especially the string variable. So let's do it. At the beginning, let's talk about the definition of the variable. The variable is a container or box. So it is something like the box or container, and you can see the example over here. For storing the data values, to save the data values. If I take a look over here, as you see, this is the box and it is the string variable. And after that, it has the name. You can see the name is iColor, and also its type is a string. So this box is a string, and we can add only the string text inside it. So this is the value, and it is blue. For better understanding, if I take a look, we have the definition of the variable. This is the definition: dim or dim variable name. This is the variable name. Just English letters, can't be totally number. And after that, as, then variable type, and you can see it should be a string, integer, long, double, decimal, and boolean. In this video, I want to talk about the string. So this is my favorite one. Then equals and the value. So here I have the live example. dim fname as a string equals the mic. It means the value of the fname is mic, exactly like this. This is the value, the name, and also the type. That is a string. So let's switch in the action. Come over here and come to this one. And to start my tutorial, I added this form and also this button and the text box. In addition, I can come over here, show on, then my project, and over here. So don't hesitate to assign the name of your new form over here. This is the clock. So I can come over here and I wanna get the variables FR. Copy this, and after that paste it over here easily and quickly. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So it's done. Now I have the form over here. In the next step, come over here and suppose I want to show the message box. This is the show message button. And suppose I want to show the message box to the user. Click on it, show message box button, click event. Now let's come over here and say message box. This is the message box dot show. Previously we talked about this matter. And let's say hi. And after that, add some space like this. And also let's copy this and this one and say hi, I love you. I love you. You are the best. Now if I run, I can see the results over here. Hi, I love you. Hi, you are the best. Now let's go over here and come to this one. Suppose I want to get some value from the text box and show it over here. So come over here one more time, new designer, and this is the text box and its name is MSG text box. So come to this and let's add plus, then the me text, and as you see the message box text dot text, which property? The text property. Also let's come over here and let's add some space here and plus, and after that the next one, and it is the plus. So it is hi, you are the best, and the text easily and quickly, and also hi, I love you, the name hi, something like this. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Let's add some value over here inside it and say Alex. This is Alex. Copy for later using. Now let's click on the show all. So it is hi Alex. Instead of this one, I have the name inside the text box. Then the next one, hi, I love you Alex. Finally, I have hi, you are the best Alex. But if I take a look over here, there is a simple problem and I need to repeat this part multiple times, up to 3 times. And it's not really great idea creating something like this. Instead of that, I can easily come over here and as I mentioned previously, define the variable. So it is dim fname as a string. Now let's come over here and say dim. After that, this is the dim, then the variable name. So I'm over here, the variable name. Come over here and say dim fname or something like that, or first name, no worries, and first name. So this is the first name as the variable type as a string because I want to assign the string to that. So I can add the string over here and also, for instance, write some value for that. And let's copy this part and paste it over here. I didn't use the double quotations for this, so you need to write it something like this. Or you can come over here and get inside the next line and let's comment this and say dim first name as a string, press enter and say the first name, this is the first name, then assign the value to that, and the value is this one. Both of these are similar and the same result, so paste over here. Now instead of the text boxes I can use the variable name. This is my variable name in this part, so let's copy and paste it instead of the first text box, the second text box, and third text box. So I have up to 3 times using the first name variable. So it is a string. As the result, I can add text and numbers inside it. This is the value, and in it over here, I want to get the value from the text box, this text box. So let's put over here and run, and let's see the result. So let's try something like the mic over here. Click on this. Hi, Mike. Hi, I love you, Mike. Hi, you are the best, Mike. So it's done and it's working perfectly. Okay, well done. Now we learned how to work with the string variable. So we are over here. If I take a look, in the next step, it's time to talk about the integer, then the line, double decimal, and the Boolean. It's time consuming, so stay with me. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi there, in this video I want to show you how to easily start working with the integer or int32 and also with the long or long64 variables. So let's do it. Firstly, we talked about the string and how to work with it, but sometimes we need to calculate the sum of numbers. In these situations, we need to use the int32 or int64. To set my tutorial, I added all of this over here. So I have 2 numbers. This is the num1, num2, and the result text box. I'm going to calculate the sum of numbers over here. The first step and first option is using the int32. If I take a look inside the Google and write int32 in VB.NET, and then we have something like this over here. It is for the numbers between -2 billion up to +2 billion, like this. And also if I take a look in the int64, so it is great for -9 quintillion up to +9 quintillion. It's really big number. So for the small numbers up to 2 billion, we're gonna use the int32. And for the big numbers like the non-quintillion, it's really great idea to use the long variables. And you can see it over here. The integer or int32 is for the numbers up to 2 billion, and also for the long, the numbers greater than 2 billion. So let's switch in the action. Come over here and come to this one. Suppose I have 2 numbers. This is the first num, second num, and the result over here. So click over here and easily say me result text box dot text equals to what? Equals to me num1 dot text plus me num2 text box dot text. So I want to add both of these together. So run the application and let's see the result. Now let's go over here, write something like this and calculate this sum. But wow, what happened? The result is wrong, and indeed it added the first number then the second number together without calculating the actual sum. So to fix this error and problem, we can use the int32 or the integer. Let's define dim, and in the second one, we need to use the variable name, then add in the data type. So come over here and say dim first num as integer. You can use the integer or int32. And also let's copy this and paste it over here and here. And say second num. Second num. And also say result. Result num over here. Now it's time to assign the value to that, and it's really simple and straightforward. Come over here and say the first num equals, this is the first num, equals to what? Equals to int32 dots and parse. Parse means convert. Convert what? Convert the string. And here I have the string, my num text box text, and paste it over here. So this line of the code converts the first number text, then assign it to the first num. And also we need to use the second one and copy this and paste it over here. So this is the second num. Copy over here and change it to num2 like this, num2 text box. Now I have the result num. I can easily say result num equals to what? Equals to the first number. You can see the first number over here plus second number. This is the result. First number plus second number. And in the next SM, I have the result num. It's time to assign it to the text of the result text. It's really simple. Just go over here and add some comment over here and say the result num, exactly this one, the result num. It's a really great idea to convert it to a string because this is the number and we need to convert the number to the string. This is optional and you can add it or you can leave it. In the VB.NET, the toString is optional in most of the cases, but in the C#, the C or C++, we need to convert this to the string. Now let's run and let's see the result. So this is if we write something like this number up to this number and calculate the sum. So it is this number. And also I can increase the numbers like this and get calculated. And also a really big number. Or let's write 3 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if I sum, so I got this error. Value was either too large or too small. So in this example, it is too big one or too large. And if I take a look, now let's stop the application. And for the bigger numbers, more than 2 billion, it's a really great idea to use the long or int64. So let's click over here and to stop my tutorial, let's copy this part and paste it over here. Now instead of the int32, let's write int64, or you can use the long over here. This is the long, and if I take a look, this is the long, and let's name it long first. You are completely free to use the long or int64. Over here I can use int64 and also copy and paste it over here. Both of these are similar. Now if I run, I can see the results, and also I can summarize the really big numbers. For instance, I can add something like this to something like this one over here. So don't press the first button because it is int32. Instead of that, click on the second one, sum int64. Now the result is like this. Also, if I take a look on the previous button, click on it, so the same result. Value was too large or too small. Okay, I enjoyed a lot. Now we learned how to work with the int32 and int64 variable. So we are over here. In the next step, it's time to work with the decimal numbers. It's time consuming, so stay with me. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the double and decimal variables. So let's do it. Previously, we talked about the string integer long or string int32 and int64. But sometimes we need to work with the decimal numbers. To do that, we have two options. The first one is double, and it is for the decimal numbers, and decimal. The decimal is for the very big decimal numbers. So let's start working with the double. Go ahead and come over here. To start my tutorial, I added both of these buttons, one for double, the next one for the decimal. So the double is over here. Let's name it the D or something like that. And this is the decimal. So let's come over here and write the decimal like this. So let's do it in the action. Also, this is the num1, num2, and the result. Firstly, we talked about how to work with the int32 and int64. Let's copy the code from here and paste it. Now let's select this and change it to the double. This is the double, and the double over here, here, and also here, and here. And in addition, we have the decimal number. Let's talk about it later. So let's run and let's see the result. Now let's come over here and write some decimal numbers like this. It's really big one, and also something like this over here. And it's really big number. And let's come over here and add something like this and some double. So the result is this one. And after that, I can delete this part and add the decimal over here and also 0 at the beginning. And for this, let's add the 0. So both of these are smaller than the 1. Now let's click on the sum double like this. So you can see it's done something like this over here. And also if I take a look, let's change it to the bigger numbers and this one. And click over here. You can see the result is like this. And also let's add 1 and some double. You can see the result, and it is up to this number of digits over here. But if you need more precision, you need to work with the decimal. The decimal is really big number, and you can work with the 28 decimal places. It's really big one. So let's come over here and come to this one. Let's copy this and paste it over here. Now paste it over here and name it the decimal. This is the decimal. The next one, the next, here, and here. Currently, I assume that you watched my previous tutorials. So let's be patient. Now let's come over here and write really big decimal number up to this one, and also another one up to this number. It's really big one, and some double, so the result is this. Some decimal, the result is up to here. It means we can work with the really big numbers. And over here, and some decimal, some double. And also I can come over here and really big number, let's write it up to this and up to this number. It's a really big number, so the sum is this. As you see, I got the error. The value was too large or too small. And don't forget to consider the 28 digits for the decimal. It's really important matter. So let's come over here and come to this and start the project. Well done. Now learned how to work with the double and decimal in the VB.NET. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the decimal and double. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the Boolean variable in the VB.NET. So let's begin. Till now we talked about all of these variables, and the last one is the Boolean. Boolean has two values, true or false. So it is really simple and straightforward. To do that, get inside the project over here. To start my tutorial, I added this button. Its name is bool button 4, and double click on it. At the first step, let's define and say dim, for instance, bl or boolean as, and the boolean. This is the boolean itself. And the next step, it's time to assign the value to this. So I can say bl equals true, or bl equals to the false, like this. So let's close this and write something else. If I take a look over here and come to this one, let's select the button. If I take a look inside the properties, I have the enable property, true or false. So the enable property is Boolean. It accepts only true and false. And after that, if I take a look over here, I have another one and it is visible, true or false. So the visible is something like the enabled, and both of these are Boolean. Now let's do it in the action, and let's select this button. It is a show message box, and also this is my text box, and let's set it to false, the enable property to false. Now if I run, I can see the result. So it's working perfectly, and my text box over here is disabled. So I want to assign the disabled property of my text box to another variable, and after that assign the value of the variable to another control like the show message. So come over here, and at the beginning let's write me dot, then if I take a look, the result text box dot text, which property? The enable property. You can see it over here. Now I have true or false over here. I can easily say bl equals to the enable property of my result text box. And in the next step, let's separate the code, and I want to assign the bl to another one, and exactly to this one, show message button. Come over here and say show message button, or for faster result you can write me dot the show and the message button, this one. Which property? The enable property. Equals to what? Equals to bl. Now it's done, and if I run the application, I can see the great and amazing result. So currently my text box in this text box over here is disabled, and this button is enabled. If you click on the boolean, then the new button is disabled, exactly like the text box, result text box over here. Both of these are disabled by using 3 lines of the codes. And in addition, we can create something else. Suppose I wanna connect the enable property of the result text box to visibility of the form. So let's come over here, come to this one. Now I have the bl and say me visible property. As you see, it is boolean, so it has only two values, true or false, equals to bl, and the bl is enable property of my show button. Now let's run and let's set the result. So click over here. Wow, what happened? I lost my form, but it is not stopped, and we have the stop button over here. If you run and get inside the task manager, then over here, if I take a look, I have the Visual Studio. You can see it over here, and my first app VB. You can see my first app VB over here. So my application is running, but the main form is invisible, and stop it. Okay, well, now learned how to work with the Boolean variables in the VB.NET. It's really great, simple, and straightforward. If you got this error, no worries. It is just the bug of the Visual Studio. Open it one more time, then the error will fix. So open up your project and start working with the Boolean variable. And save it me with my upcoming tutorial. Thanks and thanks goodness.